What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. And today, oh my god, today we've got the fucking Discourse video. Let's go! Pro wrestling discourse on the internet, baby. It's my favorite thing in the fucking world. I think we might have hit the dumbest we've ever been. I think we might have. This is the dumbest discourse that wrestling Twitter has ever had. Now, there has been a little bit of radio silence on this channel over the past couple of weeks. I'm going to be completely honest, man. And this, like, I'm not even saying this as a joke. I haven't watched wrestling since the Royal Rumble because I've just been, like, kind of deflated. And because WWE is the most easily accessible with it being on Netflix, I haven't been watching it. And because I've not been watching that, I've just not been watching AEW and stuff. I did go out my way to watch Dunkzilla versus Will Ospreay, actually, so I do tell a lie. But I've not, like, watched the full show since. So I've not had a lot to talk about because I've just not been interested or invested because, yeah. But we're here today because Twitter over the last 24 hours has been insufferable. And I mean more insufferable than normal. For those who don't know, AEW went over to Australia and ran a couple shows in Australia. They ran the big Grand Slam. It was originally meant to be in a cricket stadium, obviously then was sort of downsized and then just done in the big arena in Brisbane. I think like 13,000 people there. They ran the Grand Slam taping. They also taped ROH Global Wars. I saw that Davis wrestled, and I'm very happy that Davis wrestled and won. That's my king. But you know, on top of that, on the card, we obviously had that all-star tag match, Ospreay and Omega versus Takeshita and Fletcher, who obviously no one. If you take Busted Open seriously, then you actually don't care about professional wrestling, is what I'm gonna say. But you had David LaGreca being like, oh, why haven't we been running the heels in Australia? Because he's going to get cheered. No, because people love Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. I don't think you understand that because you don't care about watching professional wrestling. You just care about point scoring. But we're not here to talk about that old freak. And overall, by all accounts, big success. First time out in Australia. Great, good show. Got the Aussie boys on the show. Davis was there. Good matches from what I'm hearing. Everyone would agree. Big success. So, AEW had a big successful show and a big successful weekend. Obviously, there are valid criticisms to be thrown around the fact that some people bought tickets for a big stadium show and it was then obviously downgraded to a smaller venue. AEW's maybe eyes been a little bit too big for their belly. There's reports that some people weren't given sort of even partial refunds considering that they paid a certain price for a stadium show and then it was moved inside. All of these things are valid criticisms that we can and should be thrown at AEW if those reports are indeed true. But that's not what people are talking about. People are talking about the fact that AEW rented their ring from Pro Wrestling Australia. Are we fucking serious? Yes, the main topic of discussion coming out of this show wasn't about the matches, and every time AEW has a good show, there's always going to be freaks having a go at people, and it wasn't even about the legitimate criticism you could be throwing at the fact that some people were apparently not given like even partial refunds for the tickets that they initially bought thinking it was going to be like a 50,000-60,000 seater show. No, the discourse is that instead of it being in a 20 foot by 20 foot ring, which AEW has primarily always done, they ran this in a 16 by 16 because they were in Australia. Because of the logistics to move a massive 20 foot by 20 foot ring 7,000 miles across oceans and across the world. This isn't even the first time that AEW has ran a show in a 16 by 16. There's this photo of Mox and Danielson in a tiny ring because they couldn't get their main ring to wherever the fuck it was. And I remember watching that Dynamite and being like, hey, that ring looks pretty small. I don't care. The fact of the matter is, very few companies actually have access to 20 by 20 rings. Especially if you're an independent company, you realistically probably do not have a 20 by 20 ring. 20 by 20 rings are very rare. 20 by 20 rings are essentially TV rings. Pretty much only companies that run television shows and weekly consistent television products will run a 20 by 20 ring. I think WCPW had custom made a 20 by 20, I guess, to look more sort of professional. But all of your big indies, forever, they don't run 20 by 20 rings. 20 foot by 20 foot rings are essentially a commodity for the big companies to have. Because I imagine they're a fucking bitch to build up. I have seen a wrestling ring be built up and broken down a couple times. And that was literally when I did my work when I went to the CPW Weekender last year. And it's a huge process involving everyone, even though I was just there for, interviewing. I'm fucking moving shit and bringing it in and helping people set up ring aprons and ropes and stuff. Because it's a huge job that's got to be done by a lot of people. A 20 by 20 ring is only for the big companies. And when you're then running a show on the other side of the world, moving all that equipment, logistically, it's just not going to be feasible. It's not. Moving it out there to run one show, to then have to haul it all the way back to the States to be ready for your next Dynamite, is definitely a bitch. And why would you do that when you could then go, hey, we're going to a country that has a thriving independent promotion in PWA, Pro Wrestling Australia. They have a ring. They are based where we are going. Let's just fucking ask PWA if we can use their ring. This is the company that a lot of our guys came up in, especially one of the men that's featured in one of the most prominent feuds in the company, in Kyle Fletcher. Why don't we just see if he'll reach out to PWA and say, hey guys, can we use the ring? And that's it. But you go on Twitter and people are saying, oh, this is another AEW embarrassment. Look at them with their tiny ring. You people do not like wrestling. If this is what you care about, you don't like wrestling. And to be completely honest, I'm going to go out on a limb and say 99.9999999% of people who are complaining about that ring are the same people who are getting angry at people who are upset at the fact that Triple H sat behind Linda McMahon while she sat there and allowed the Board of Education in America, or the Department of Education, to defund programs that focus on black history and queer history and removing all of these things from fucking schools. Because that's not about wrestling. That's who you are as a person. That's who you are, brother. It is dumb and it is pointless, and I feel like I feel now, I never want to get on any of my channels and call myself a better fan of anything. However, I feel confident in saying I am a better professional wrestling fan than a lot of people, because because I want to watch wrestling. I want to watch a professional wrestling product. If these guys go out there in a 20 by 20 or an 18 by 18 or fuck it, even a 12 by 12, if they are going out there and they are putting on good professional wrestling inside the ring, then that is what I care about. And on my television product for my professional wrestling show, I care about the quality of my professional wrestling when I watch professional wrestling. That, to many people, is a foreign fucking concept. And I truly feel like we have hit just the peak of stupidity in professional wrestling discourse with this. However, let's be real. We've not. John Moxley's going to show up in the biker shorts one day, and then everyone's going to say, why would the fucking Killer Man have biker shorts on? Or like, Ricky Starks is going to have his real name, or like he's going to use Ricky Starks, because why wouldn't he use Ricky Starks even though they're running this stupid fucking story? Well, not really running the story, but they've still not told us his name. And then people on the other side are going to go, well, obviously his name would be Ricky Starks. Why have we been hyped for weeks for to find out his name? Like, watch professional wrestling, enjoy professional wrestling, consume professional wrestling. And also, when you want to call out the companies, call them out for things like adding injury time to people's contracts. Call them out for things like the no-compete clause. Call them out for things like willfully standing behind your mother-in-law as she helps to take the rights away from oppressed people. Call them out for fucking releasing people while injured. Call them out for underpaying their workers. Call them out for not providing medical care and health benefits to their wrestlers if they get injured outside the ring. Call them out for all of these things. But don't call them out for dumb shit like this. I think we've hit the peak of pro wrestling discourse stupidity, and I would like to think this is rock bottom. But it's not. So my plea to professional wrestling fans watching this video is just don't be so fucking stupid. And that's where I'll leave it today. I've not watched Grand Slam yet. I may watch it later on today. I may watch it through the week. I'm going to try and get back in on watching wrestling over the next few weeks, because like I was, I will not let the Yeet Man hold me down. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to let me know what you think of this in the comments. Do you think it's bad that they ran a 16x16 ring instead of carrying their ring 8,000 miles across the world? Actually, don't tell me that, because I don't want to fucking hear it. But no, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Show us to all your mates and say, hey, look at this handsome man with the good wrestling opinions. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.